Hi guys, we're going to record like this today so you can see the book. It says, so Augie's going on a sleepaway trip with his classmates. It says, day 1. The bus ride went really fast. I sat by the window and Jack next to me on the aisle seat. Summer and Maya were in front of me. Everyone was in a good mood. Kind of loud, laughing a lot. I noticed right away that Julian wasn't on our bus, even though Henry and Miles were. I figured he must be on the other bus, but then I overheard Miles tell Amos that Julian ditched the grade trip because he thought the whole nature retreat thing was quote-unquote dorky. I got totally pumped because dealing with Julian for 3 days in a row and 2 nights was a major reason that I was nervous about this whole trip. So now without him there, I could really just relax and not worry about anything. We got to the nature reserve around noon, and first thing we did was put on our stuff down on the cabins. There were 3 bunk beds to every room. So me and Jack did rock, paper, scissors for the top bunk, and I won. Woohoo! And the other guys in the room were Reed and Tristan and Pablo and Nino. After we had lunch in the main cabin, we all went to the 2-hour guided nature hike through the woods. But these were not woods like the kind they have in Central Park. These were real woods, giant trees that almost blocked out the sunlight. Tangles of leaves and fallen tree trunks, howls and chirps and really loud bird calls. There was a slight fog too, like a pale blue smoke all around us. So cool. The nature guide pointed everything out to us. The different types of trees were all passing. We were passing the insects inside the dead logs on the trail, the signs of deers and bears in the wood, what types of birds were whistling, and where to look for them. I realized that my Lobot hearing aids actually made me hear better than most people because I was usually the first person to hear a new bird call. It started to rain as we headed back to camp. I pulled on my rain poncho and pulled the hold up so my hearing aids wouldn't get wet. But my jeans and shoes got soaked by the time we reached our cabins. Everyone got soaked. It was fun though. We had a wet sock fight in the cabin. Since it rained for the rest of the day, we spent most of the afternoon goofing off in the rec room. They had a ping pong table and an old-style arcade game like Pac-Man and Missile Command. Then we played until dinner time. Luckily, by then, it had stopped raining, so we had a real campfire cookout. The long benches around the campfire were still a little damp, but we threw our jackets over them and hung out by the fire, toasting s'mores and eating the best roasted hot dogs I have ever tasted. Mom was right about the mosquitoes. There were tons of them, but luckily I had spritzed myself before I left the cabin, and I wasn't eaten alive like some of the other kids were. I loved hanging out by the campfire after dark. I loved way bits of fire dust that would float up and disappear into the night air, and how the fire lit up people's faces. I loved the sound of that the fire made too, and how the woods were so dark that you couldn't see anything around you. You'd look up and see a billion stars in the sky. The sky didn't look like the North River Heights. I've seen it look like that in Mantuk, though, like someone sprinkled salt on the shiny black table. I was so tired when I got back to the cabin that I didn't need to pull out the book and read. I fell asleep almost as fast as my head hit the pillow. And maybe I dreamed about the stars. I don't know. The next day was just as great as the first day. We went horseback riding in the morning, and in the afternoon we rappelled up some ginormous tree with the help of the nature guides. By the time we got back to the cabin for dinner, we were really tired again. After dinner, they told us we had an hour to rest, and then we were going to take a 15-minute bus ride to the fairgrounds for an outdoor movie night. I hadn't had the chance to write a letter to Mom and Dad and Vaya yet, so I wrote one telling them about the stuff we did that day and the day before. I pictured myself reading to them out loud when I got back, since there was just no way the letter would get home before I did. When we got to the fairgrounds, the sun was just starting to set. It was about 7:30. The shadows were really long in the grass, and the clouds were pink and orange. It looked like someone had taken sidewalk chalk and smudged the colors across the sky with their fingers. It's not that I haven't seen nice sunsets before in the city, because I have. Slivers of sunset between buildings, but I wasn't used to seeing so much sky in every direction. Out here in the fairgrounds, I could understand why ancient people used to think the world was flat and the sky was a dome that closed in on top of it. That's what it looked like from the fairgrounds, in the middle of this huge open field. Because we were the first school to arrive, we got to run around the field all we wanted until the teachers told us it was time to lay our sleeping bags on the ground and get a good viewing seat. We unzipped our bags and laid them down like a picnic blankets on the grass in front of the giant movie screen in the middle of the field. Then we went to the row of food trucks parked at the edge of the field to load up on snacks and sodas and stuff like that. There were concession stands there too, like at a farmer's market, selling roasted peanuts and cotton candy. And up a little further was a short row of carnival type stalls, and kind of where you could win a stuffed animal if you throw a basketball into the basket. Jack and I both tried and failed to win anything, but we heard Amos won a yellow hippo and gave it to Zemina. That was the big gossip that went around. The jock and the brainiac. From the food trucks, you could see corn stalks back in the movie screen. They covered about a third of the entire field. The rest of the field was completely surrounded by woods. As the sun sank lower in the sky, the tall trees in the entrance to the woods looked dark blue. By the time the other school buses pulled into the parking lots, we were back in our spots and sleeping bags, right smack in front of the screen. The best seats in the whole field. Everyone was passing around snacks and having a great time. Me and Jack could hear the sound of the other schools arriving, the loud laughing and talking of kids coming out in the field on both sides of us, but we couldn't really see them. Through the sky was light. The sun had gone down completely, and everything on the ground had turned deep purple. The clouds were shadows now. We had trouble even seeing the Pictionary cards in front of us. Just then, without any announcement, all the lights on the end of the field went all out at once. They were like big, bright stadium lights. I thought that the scene in Close Encounters when the alien ship lands and they're playing that music. Da-da-doo, da-da-dum. Everyone in the field started applauding and cheering like something great had just happened. Be kind to nature. Let's read a couple more. Be kind to nature. An announcement came over the huge speakers next to the stadium lights. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 23rd annual Big Movie Night at the Browood Nature Reserve. Welcome, teachers and students from MS 342, the William Health School. A big cheer went up from the left side of the field. Welcome, teachers and students from Glover Academy. Another cheer went up, and this time from the right side. And welcome, teachers and students from Beecher Prep School. Our whole group cheered as loudly as we could. We thrilled to have you as our guest here tonight, and thrilled that the weather is cooperating. In fact, you can believe what a beautiful night this is. Again, everyone hooped and hollered, so we prepared the movie. We do ask that you take a few minutes to listen to the important announcements. The Briarwood Nature Reserve, as you know it, is dedicated to preserving our natural resources in the environment. We ask that you leave no litter behind, clean up after yourselves, be kind to nature, and it will be kind to you. We ask that you keep in mind that you will walk around the ground as you walk around the grounds. Do not adventure beyond the orange cones at the edge of the fairgrounds. Do not go into the cornfield or the woods. Please keep the free roaming to a minimum. Even if you don't feel like watching the movie, your fellow students may feel otherwise, so please be courteous. No talking, no playing music, no running around. The restrooms are located at the other side of the concessions. After the movie is over, it will be quite dark, so we ask that all of you stay with your schools and make your way back to your buses. Teachers, there's usually at least one lost party on big movie nights at Briarwood. Don't let this happen to you. Tonight's movie presentation will be The Sound of Music. I immediately started clapping, even though I'd seen it a few times before, because it was Via's favorite movie all the time. But I was surprised that a whole bunch of kids, not from Beecher, booed and hissed and laughed. Someone from the right side of the field even threw a soda can at the screen, which seemed to surprise Mr. Tushman. I saw him stand up and look at the direction of the can thrower, though I knew he couldn't see anything in the dark. The movie started playing right away. The stadium lights dimmed. Maria the nun was standing on the top of the mountain, twirling around and around. It had gotten chilly all of a sudden, so I put on my yellow Manitouk hoodie and adjusted the volume on my hearing aids and leaned against my backpack and started watching. The hills are alive. All right, let's stop there. So, day one, but question one, Augie went to the nature preserve. Who wasn't on the bus? That's question one. Who didn't go? Question two, what was the weather like when they got there? Question three. Oh, wait, here we are. Question three. What did they do at nighttime? What kind of dinner did they have? Question four. they went somewhere during the second day. Oh, the second day, Augie did something for his parents. What did he do for his parents and Avaya? And then at nighttime, they went somewhere special to watch what? So what did they do at nighttime on that second day? All right, see you guys tomorrow.